Welcome to Iron Man Movie Review. In the beginning of the movie, you see Tony in the car with the soldiers. Tony said to them you were allowed to talk and laugh. Someone asked him for a picture, then one of the soldiers said stay with Tony. The bad guys took him into a cave. It told the story when Tony was younger than all about the newspapers. Tony won an award for his work. He didn't go to get the trophy. His boss was doing the speech about Tony. Tony was not working, he was trying to win some money. Tony said thank you to him. Happy opening the door for Tony, he said hello to her. Tony was guessing, then she said, do you practice that? He said yeah in the mirror, then she was asking him questions. They fell out of bed and Tony was laughing. It was morning, Tony was gone, then Pepper Potts came in. Pepper Potts said the car is there for you. Then she found Tony working downstairs on his car. Pepper Potts opening the door, asking him a question. Tony once asked him something. She said, do you want yes or no? Pepper Potts asked, can you sign this? Tony didn't know. It was her birthday. Then he was driving a car to the plane. Tony thought he lost Happy. When he was driving, he was on the plane. He told him he was sorry. The man said, we are working. He said, no. Then they have a party on the plane. Tony left the plane. He was doing the speech in front of the soldiers. They were testing Tony work. His boss was up. He called Tony. Then the boss said good night to Tony and ended the call. Tony woke up in the cave. Tony was sitting up. He asked him a question. What did you to me? The man saved his life. Tony asked, what is this? The man walked, said hello to Tony. They took him outside of the cave and showed him. The man was talking to Tony, is getting to work. Then he is planning the first Iron Man suits in the cave. Tony threw a machine on the floor. The man asked him, what is that? Tony explained what it was they working to get out of the cave. Tony showed him the plans of the Mark I suit. He asked Tony a question. They walked to the door and saw them working. The bad guys left the room. The bad guys told Tony to stand back. Tony brought the mask and put it on the table. The bad guys are watching on the cameras the outside the door. The bad guys are coming. The man was going to give Tony a little more time. The bad guy went flying. Then the Iron Man suit was moving. He was walking in the cave to escape. He got his arm stuck in the wall. Then he found the man. Tony said, thank you for saving me. He was free out of the cave. The bad guys are trying to stop Iron Man. Iron Man was flying. Then he landed in the sand. Iron Man was running. They found Tony. Plane landing. Pepper Potts was so happy seeing Tony. Happy was driving the car to go see the boss at their work. Boss was waving at everyone. Then Pepper Potts was talking to the agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. Tony was doing a speech sitting down. Everyone was listening to the speech. Boss was now doing a speech, then he went into a building. Boss was talking to Tony. Tony said, "Who told you?" Then he saw it. He said to Tony, "We are a team." They left their workplace. Pepper was watching TV. Tony asked how big her hands. She went, "What?" Tony needs her help with put the new core in. She asked, "What do you want me to do?" She is so nervous doing it. She said sorry to him. Tony said, "Was that so hard?" "That was fun, right?" Tony was laughing. She said, "Don't ever, 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 ever ask me to do anything like that ever again." Tony smiling, then she said, "What do you want me to do with this?" Tony went back to work. The plane landing at the floor. Tony saw his friend, then he said, "Please don't do that." He laughed. He wanted him to be part of his work. Tony was smiling. Tony is working on a new project, the Mark II suit. The bad guys found the old Iron Man suit in the sand. Tony was working on the boots on the suit. He was testing the fly. He hit the wall. Tony was working on the hands of the suit. Pepper Potts walked and gave him his post. She thought he stopped making bad things. He tested the hands of the suit. He went flying backwards. Pepper Potts cover her ears. Tony Boss went to see him. He was having pizza. He took the pizza off him. Tony took 2 pieces of pizza. Tony was testing his suit again. He landed. He was doing it again. He was laughing nervous. Then he landed. He said no. He went, "Yeah, he can fly." Tony was testing the whole suit this time. He was flying. He was excited. Then the kids at the fair was watching him flying. Tony was flying really high in the sky. The whole suit was freezing in ice. Tony broke the ice and fly though the city and back home. Tony landed on his cars after his test. Tony opening the present that Pepper Potts give him. The bad guys got the whole old Iron Man suit. Tony was watching the TV and saw the red carpet. Tony Boss was surprised to see Tony at the party. Tony went inside the building. He saw Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. at the party. Tony saw Pepper Potts at the party. She was surprised. She said it was a birthday day gift from you. She didn't want to dance. Then she danced. They were talking to Tony. Pepper Potts was laughing. She was talking outside. Tony went inside, got Pepper Potts a drink. Tony said he was out town for work. Tony was about to leave the party. The boss stopped him and to talk to him. Tony was watching TV and he was not happy. Tony was working on his hands for the suit, then he tested. It worked. Tony was getting his suit back on and fly to save the world. People were running. Iron Man come landed in and help. Iron Man saw him though the wall and broke the wall. Iron Man was walking then, he was saved the day, stopped them using his thing he made. The people around the table were coming up with a plan. Iron Man was flying in the sky, and they saw him on the scanner. Tony friend called him when he is flying in the sky. The planes are trying to stop Iron Man in the sky. Tony tried to call his friend. He told him he in the suit. Iron Man saved the pilot. Tony friend is doing a speech in front of people. Tony boss was watching the TV. He was not happy. Pepper Potts walked down the stairs, see Tony trying getting out of Iron Man's suit. The boss went to the bad guy's base. He showed Tony Boss the old Iron Man suit that Tony made in the cave. Tony Boss left the bad guy's base, then he went in a car. Pepper Potts walked in to see Tony. Pepper Potts, she was about to walk out. Pepper Potts went in the elevator and walked into his boss office. She was looking for something, then she found something. Tony Boss walked and saw Pepper Potts in the office. Pepper Potts grabbed the memory stick out of the laptop. He asked, "Is that today newspaper?" Then she gave to him. Pepper Potts walked and talked to the agent and asked him for help. Tony Boss was mean to someone at work. Tony Boss went to his home and get the energy to put in his suit. Tony was sitting down and talking to him. Tony Boss left his home and Pepper Potts called Tony friend. Tony friend found him in his lap. Pepper Potts walked into the building and her card it didn't work. Tony Boss got in the suit when he heard the door. They were looking at the suit it moved. Pepper Potts was screaming it was chasing her in the building she was outside. Iron Man was flying he broke the ground to hurt Pepper Potts. Tony saved her went flying into a big Iron Man suit. Iron Man saved the people in the car. Iron Man went flying. Iron Man tried to get up then he fly. Tony Boss was flying too. He is going to take the big Iron Man suit to the sky and frozen it. Iron Man was free, then he was landed on the ground safe. So did the big Iron Man suit. He said it's not working, try to get inside the building. He opened the suit. Pepper Potts was press every single button to get the machine on. Tony said it's time to hit the button. She pushes it and escape the building. Pepper Potts, she helped Tony while he is reading a newspaper. Agent was talking to Tony, then Pepper Potts said thank you. Pepper Potts said you're not Iron Man. Then he said I am Iron Man. Tony friend said Tony come on the stage. Pepper Potts was watching TV. Then he said live on TV he is Iron Man. Then he told them the truth. He said he is Iron Man. Everyone was surprised. I give the movie 10 out of 10.